Welcome back. Let's Fly Kerbal Space Program. Okay, so we've had some really good things happening recently. It's taken a while to get here. I know this has been kind of a slow series. Sometimes I worry about the pacing. I'm just going to promise that I do have big plans coming, that it will be worth it. I did some work off screen since last episode I recorded. Went through. I actually identified a bug in the game. I need to go and make an official report to him that whenever I had two engines operating in parallel and they're taking the fuel out of the central tank, it was causing a bug. It was actually duplicating fuel, and I suppose it could be useful for making an extremely high-performance vehicle. It's cheating. My solution to that, at the moment, the RUNT vehicle, these four tanks in the very middle have no fuel. Those are structural pieces, so the fuel is in this upper tank, it's in the lower tank, and also in this attached to the actual engine itself, with the fuel lines running so that the upper tanks feed the left engine exclusively, and the lower tanks feed the right engine exclusively. It's all the same size, the same quantities, so there shouldn't be any balance problems. Okay, the next step. The RUNT, it doesn't have a number yet, as I don't know exactly how much the base vehicle can lift. And remember, it's supposed to be able to have a variety of engines and fuel quantities. So this is actually the base for several different RUNT vehicles. The next step, I already know that this vehicle is not going to be strong enough to lift the Prospector Space Explorer probe vehicle. This vehicle is going to specialize in boosting much smaller payloads. So I'm going to do a full, all-up operational test of it in that fashion. I don't want to use the June bug. I think this one I actually want to use the Moth, just as a technology demonstrator, to demonstrate the capabilities and to kind of fine-tune some details. I want to take the Moth. Why does this piece not like to... Sometimes it just doesn't want to connect. There we go. I'm going to put the Moth together. We're going to simply put the Moth into orbit around Kerbin and return. This is to see... Just to really demonstrate that the RUNT vehicle, the whole system will operate correctly, and yeah, again, work bugs out of the system if there are any bugs. Okay, let's see. Oops, I always turn it the wrong direction first. There we go. These guys are playing actually Silent Night, aren't they? I just recognized the song. I like it. Okay. An advantage to using these small vehicles like this is they're easy to reconfigure whenever I need to. Easy to rebuild whenever necessary. I wish that I could put the landing gear in a tricycle configuration, as that really is the best. It's a naturally stable configuration. It's the minimum of landing gear, so it's more lightweight. But I simply do not have enough of a variety of sizes of functional landing gear to make that work. So it'll be a car. It's got four wheels. That's okay. Okay, now I was so happy. I went through a whole lot of versions. For a long time, I thought that the structural tail piece, which I like so much, the one thing that's wrong with it is you can't stack anything to the tail. The way this works, take one explosive bolt part, one by Captain Slug made this a long time ago. Center that, and then this other piece by Nova Salisco, that came with the base parts, Base Construction Company, the side mount adapter, and stack that thing on top of the explosive bolt. Ta-da! Functional decoupler for that tail piece. makes me very happy. Let me see, which SAS? We'll go with this one. I want an SAS. I want 1 tank of RCS fuel attached. There we go. We want our smallest fuel tank. Put some RCS ports on it. Okay, I like that. We should add some struts while I'm here to keep everything from wobbling. Okay, so there's the orbiter. This whole assembly with the this whole assembly all together, that's going to be the orbiter, and with the Moth vehicle, that's our return, our re-entry and landing vehicle. I guess that's, you could call this kind of a service module, huh? Let me see, where did... Yeah, one of these, our hollow decouplers. That works. Okay, now we'll attach that to the RUNT airplane vehicle. Let's do a couple more struts. Let me see, staging. So let me see. First we have our 2 liquid engines. Then we have our big solid rocket booster. Then this decouples. Then we have our small liquid engine. Then this decouples, and the rest of it's our lander. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the first... Oh yeah, also, I owe an apology to everybody who's watching, who's been paying attention, who keeps on telling me to use a mech jeb to give independent control of a vehicle after decoupling it. I tried this before. I've tried this more than once before. I must have done something wrong before, because whenever I attempted to use the mech jeb earlier, the vehicle was just uncontrollable. I mean, yes, technically it would move a little bit, but the thing wouldn't roll at all. And an airplane that can't roll is useless. But I don't know, I went and tried it again. I must have done something wrong before. It works now. So it is my guess, is my hope, not my guess, it is my hope, my goal for this launch is this vehicle is going to demonstrate just all of the essential steps that I want to have, really everything else that's going to follow for the remainder of this space program. Let's launch it. And for this momentous step, we get to have Bill Kerman, Jebediah Kerman, and Bob Kerman back with us. Hi guys, how you doing? Okay. Alright, let's, do I want to listen to this music? Do I, just the thing that I have to ask that question, I think we're going to skip this one. Okay, let's, okay, here we go. Retract that landing gear. SAS on. I'm thinking, are there any really important steps that I forgot to do? Nothing is coming to mind. Alright, let's light the mains. Light the solid, and we are flying. I wish I could, in real life, I could fly a vehicle into outer space. That would be so incredibly awesome. Maybe like a couple of decades from now, somebody will be inspired by some of my videos, and they'll go work for NASA, or they'll create their own space company, or they'll work for Virgin Galactic, or they'll do their own thing, and because I inspired them, they'll give me a free ride into space. You think that could happen? Remember me, guys? You, right now, you listening, watching the video, listening to me. Remember me when you build your space plane that I need a ride, okay? Thanks, bye. Very, very, very perfectly smooth launch. I actually had an experience sort of like that back whenever I was working. I was the mechanic for the flight school. There's a guy that stopped by the flight school one day. Okay, there goes our solid rocket booster. And he said, in thanks for teaching him to fly years ago, he's going on a business trip, and he wants to know, is there just any of the employees of flight school hanging, flight instructors or mechanic? I was a mechanic there. Anybody's hanging around who wants to go for a ride in his business jet? And so I did, and I actually got some cockpit time too. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I can fly a business jet, but I did once. Sat, okay, he did all the like difficult stuff, but I sat there and it flew a little bit. So yeah, so that was really cool. And so whenever I want you people, whenever you have your space plane, see, we've set a precedent. People who inspire you and help you out, they get free rides. Just remember that. Thank you. Okay, let's open up that map view. This is working. Let's pitch forward a little bit more. Yeah, this is working. This is working. Okay. That's kind of... Can we get that apoapsis higher? I don't know. It's climbing pretty fast, isn't it? How are we doing fuel? Oh, that's right. We've got a whole other fuel tank left. That's good. That's good. Yeah, we've got like another minute of thrust left. Okay. Okay. Yes, this is functioning. Nothing is breaking. Everything is working as planned, as expected. I am happy about it. Let's turn that RCS on. Help me steer, as it's wobbling a little bit. Put it right there. Apoapsis above 50 kilometers. There should be, what, about like 30 seconds of thrust left. This is going to work. This is going to work just fine. Okay, now our projected track is over here at this isthmus, the stretch of land there. That's actually where I want my launch vehicle to land. Okay, thrust is... Wow, that didn't quite make it up to 70 kilometers, but I think that may be close enough. Maybe I just didn't pilot it carefully enough. Okay. Okay, let's throttle down. Let's stage. Now, RCS, let's translate upwards some. Or, yeah, upwards I said, that was downwards. To avoid burning runt with our engine exhaust. Good. Okay. And okay, Moth goes for orbit now. Okay, so, and hopefully I'll be able to burn enough. I'll be able to put Moth into orbit quickly enough that I can log out and I can, I'll get Moth to a point where it's in a stable orbit, and then I can log out and I can log into RUNT in order to pilot RUNT through the landing. That is my plan. Okay, now the apoapsis is above 70. That's very good. Actually, let's just stop. I'm going to wait till I get up to that apoapsis. I bet you this will work. Okay. Okay, there's the Moth orbiter. Let's turn that RCS off for now so as not to waste RCS fuel. Good. Yeah. It'll take them a while to get to that other point. Okay, and now I'll log into RUNT debris. It's kind of a rude thing to call it. Takes a while to load, but there it is. Okay, 54 kilometers and falling. Let's turn that RCS on, get some more control. Oh, lots of RCS fuel left, that's good. But no regular rocket fuel, so grunt debris, as the game has decided to call it, is a glider. Unmanned glider, apparently. There's no crew down here. Once, whenever I was working this before, whenever I put a mech jeb on this, and I had the extra cockpit part, I was getting extra Kerbals. But now, this last time I tried it, my extra Kerbals aren't showing up. That and all the struts broke. Oh well, you don't need struts, I guess. Kind of mellow re-entry music. I don't know if your re-entry is supposed to be all like dramatic and flaming. Do you see that video of the guy that made? He did put some Adobe effects. He made a movie. Take a Kerbal Space Program video of just a simple capsule re-entering and put all the fire and the flame from an ablative heat shield burning off in an atmosphere. It was a really cool movie. You should watch it. It's on YouTube. I liked it. And music from 2 Steps from Hell playing while they just go with them. Yeah, it was cool. Okay, now we got some slight buffeting as we start hitting some of the thicker air. My path is actually taking me out to sea. Okay, let's get down low enough. Let's see if we can turn. Whoa, okay. Oh, that's precision control. Turn that precision control on. More buffeting. Very thin air. Can we turn and miss these mountains, please? The mountains could just ruin the whole landing. I want the flat parts. Okay, now we're starting to get a turn going. Yeah, the air is very, very thin above 10 kilometers. For the way it works in this game, anyway. Okay, probably don't need RCS anymore. At this point, I'm going to not repeat the mistake. Let's turn those landing lights on. Look at those. Whee! Okay, landing lights, as it's, nighttime. Let's put that landing gear out. I think I'm going to do my trim back some. Whole bunch of trees. I think I'm going to I'm not really going to worry about finding an open spot that's clear of trees. We're just going to land right through the trees. I think those are very, very fragile trees. I think they're actually like, kind of like very, very lightweight fungus. They're fungus. They're mushrooms. So they're mostly just like natural foam. They're full of air. So my vehicle is just going to plow straight through them. Because I don't see any spots that are open and free of trees anymore. Well, I suppose maybe the beach down there. I don't know. No, we're just going to plow through the trees. Okay. Getting close to landing. This looks like it's slightly less hilly, just a little bit over in the right. Let's do it this way. And, ooh, I can see the light on the ground from the landing lights. Yeah, that works. Yep, that works just nicely. Okay, pull back some. It's all lightweight. It's very lightweight. It's got a lot of wing. Since it burned all that fuel, it's all that lightweight, so that's why it's floaty. Very, very slow, gentle vehicle. Boom. Okay. Okay. Okay, kill the trim and start just tapping on the brakes a little bit. Again, don't want to do it too fast because it'll pitch forward. Also have a slight down slope, which if you're using a tail wheel, landing on a down slope, yeah, all the weight's forward to the nose. So got a real very, very careful about stopping this thing. Stop, 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 stop. Stopped. Okay. Well, All right. So, yeah, that part worked just perfectly fine. Let's end the flight for that one. We'll just pretend that I had a Kerbal crew in there. We just can't see them. Go to the tracking station. Where's my orbiter? I wish I had a means in-game of changing the name to this thing, because it is not RUNT. This is the Moth Orbiter now. But I don't have a... You know, I can open it up after I close the game, you know, and I can change the name in a file. Oh, I've already gone past the apoapsis and I'm descending. Hang on. Let's do that precision controls. Thing doesn't move quite so fast. Come on, center it. There we go. Yeah, okay. Let's open that up. Let's do some thrusting. Okay. Yeah, okay. And I'll do the circularization. So now it's going to stay in orbit. I'll just do it right now. Let's go ahead and I want to circularize this orbit. Let's do some time compression. Okay, almost there. Let's go down to no time compression. See if I can circularize this orbit. Oh, no, I wanted to burn... Well, actually, I'll just use RCS for this. Hang on, let's RCS on, and... Yeah, because it's not much... I want to see if I can get this right at 100 kilometers circular as possible. And my ship pointing the wrong direction to use the main engine. Whoops. Okay, just about exactly 100 kilometers. Okay, RCS off. How much are RCS fuel? Yeah, didn't even use like a quarter of it. There's one thing of having such a small orbiter vehicle. I mean, this is my smallest RCS tank, and this is my smallest rocket fuel tank. And, okay, not quite the smallest rocket engine, but it's almost the smallest. And it's way overpowered for this mission that all I have is just orbiting Kerbin. Look at I got all this fuel left. I've got enough I could go around the moon and back. Go just past. Okay. Point down. Right about here. And just do a little bit of burning. Okay, so that one's 99.7. That one's 100.1. I'm going to call that close enough to circular for my business. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this was, all in all, a total success of the RUNT of the space plane lifting vehicle design. This is the way that I generally want it to work. Take off from Kerbal Space Center, land on that other body of mass. I need to come up with a name for it. I actually don't know what that isthmus of land there might be called. Yeah. Eventually, I'd hope to build like a proper landing facility there. I figured that the lifting vehicles, the RUNTs and the grunts, will land there, then they'll refuel, and maybe they'll just bolt some like regular jet engines on, and they'll fly them back to Kerbal Space Center for the next launch. I'm thinking that Bill, Jeb, and Bob, they are just going to stay in orbit in the Moth for, I don't know, until further notice. Kind of don't want them popping up all the time. So you guys are going to explore, you're going to run some experiments concerning the long-term effects of Kerbal staying in orbit for like a long time. I hope you have a few sandwiches. But all in all, success. The design works. The design works. Again, yeah, this one is not going to be strong enough to lift the Prospector. So the next step is I'm going to go and do the same basic configuration. I'm going to do a new vehicle. Here, we'll go ahead and I'll do that one for the, because we'll put the June bug. But instead of, you know, I'm thinking that what I'm going to do for the second one is, let me see, instead of using, oh, here it is. Yeah, this is the solid rocket booster, which I used in RUNT. The next step is I'm going to use this solid rocket booster. And we're going to make the liquid engines on front to match. I'm thinking that this one is one that in between the biplane wings I'll expect to be slinging a bunch of 2-meter tanks. No, that isn't quite the, yeah. Here, put that over there so you can see it. And the next step after that, I don't know, we may, well, I expect that the 2-meter version, I expected that will probably be able, very likely will be able to lift the Prospector, and the next step in the actual designing of my launch vehicles would be to go to our next biggest solid rocket booster, next big size, and make that one big enough to sling a bunch of 3-meter tanks and 3-meter engines between the wings. That's my plan for the future, but I'm going to stop right now. Bill, Jeb, and Bob happily in orbit. The RUNT design fairly finalized. I can just, you know, for different payloads, I'll just put a whole bunch of different engines between the wings. I'll stop recording. Thank you very much for watching. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.